Now turn right onto Elvis Presley Boulevard.
I made it. My name's Mark. I'm a tour guide dude. I'm glad you're here. Up here, this is our gallery. This is the very early days of the studio. This is where I'm going to start you guys off at. This is pretty much everything before 1953, which means it's everything before Elvis. Don't worry, I'll get to Elvis. I promise. Then I'll end the tour downstairs in the room where all this stuff was recorded. It's pretty amazing that it's still here after all these years. We're still a fully active studio to this day. So what that means is when we go down there, and I'm going to show it to you, you're going to see guitars and microphones and shiny things all over the place. No touchy.
Okay, you got the guitar?
I got some of it.
You got the guitar.
Let's go back here to 1950. That's when all this started. And the guy you're going to hear me talk about the next half hour or so is that handsome devil right there. That's Sam C. Phillips right there. He's the star of the story. Sam, he was a radio engineer back in those days at WREC. It was big band music, easy listening music, pop music. Sam hated it. Sam was into the blues, R&B, gospel, all that music coming off of Bill Street. Music that really wasn't getting recorded yet here in Memphis in 1950. So Sam Phillips, he had this cool little idea that he'd take out a 10-year lease at 706 Union Avenue. And that's the studio you're about to be standing in. His little motto, his little slogan in those very early days was, "We record anything, anywhere, anytime." And when I say anything, he would record anything, okay? Hold that thought. More about that in just a second. So you gotta think the year was 1950. It was a black and white world back in those days. Still highly segregated, especially here in Memphis. Sam, he didn't care about any of that stuff. He opened his doors to everyone. And because of that, some of the world's greatest blues artists got their start right here too. So way before he ever invented that little thing called rock and roll, we had guys like B.B. King, you might have heard of, Bobby Blue Bland, Junior Parker, Roscoe Gordon Jr., and right here, one of the all-time greats, Mr. Howlin' Wolf, got his start right here too. 6'6", 300 pounds. Sam Phillips, like you said, Howlin' Wolf was his all-time greatest discoveries, okay? And we might not have had guys, though, like Howlin' Wolf if it was not for this gentleman here in the gold frame. I use that word loosely. You might recognize this dude from Clarksdale, Mississippi. That right there is a 19-year-old Ike Turner. You remember Ike Turner? Yeah. Probably for all the wrong reasons. So Ike got his start here, too. So way before the Ike and Tina days, Ike was like Sam Phillips' unofficial talent scout, who brought a lot of these guys up to record here in the early days. And Ike would actually make a very landmark recording here himself that some rock and roll experts claim might have been the very first rock and roll record. And they say that because it was the first time guitar distortion was ever used on a recording. And now you see right there, all it was just a busted amplifier. Yeah, Sam's like, that's pretty cool. Don't fix it, just turn it up. That song was called Rocket 88, Ike Turner on piano. Rocket 88, that was an Oldsmobile 88 back in the day. Okay. So yeah, that was a big turning point in the story. Let's know, here's why. That right there was a #1 record, okay? But it was a #1 record for the Chess record label out of Chicago. So what you gotta think, at this point in my little timeline, Sam is not a record label yet. He's simply just a recording service. He's not making all that big money. He's barely keeping the lights on here. He's still got a job down the street at the radio station. But it was that right there. That's what inspired Sam Phillips to start his own record label. He did just that in 1952. And that bright idea was called the Sun Record Company. Look at that, Joe. So Sam's off, man. He's got his own record label in 1952, the Sun Record Company. I get a lot of folks ask me, what's up with the Sun? What's up with the chicken? Well, Sam, he was an old country boy. He grew up on a farm. He grew up to the sounds of roosters every morning. And to him, the sun meant get out of bed. There's still time to realize your dreams. And I thought that was kind of cool. And he obviously realized his dream because here we are 70 years later, right? Go Sam. So our very first hit on the Sun record label, Sam's very first hit record was this gentleman right here, Mr. Rufus Thomas. He gave us our very first hit, a song called Bearcat. This song also got Sam Phillips in a whole mess of trouble. Y'all tell me, what's wrong with Bearcat?
Hound dog.
There you go. So yeah, it sounded a whole lot like something you might have heard before, a little song called Hound Dog. So yeah, Sam's very first hit on his brand new record label. It was also his very first lawsuit. Welcome to the birthplace of rock and roll, world famous Sun Studio, Memphis recording service. It's kind of a big deal. Yeah. Everything you heard upstairs, everything about to play downstairs was recorded right here in this room. Think about that for just a second. Okay. We're still a fully active studio to this day. We get bands from all over the world record here. Since the heyday, U2's recorded here. They brought their own drum kit. They left it. That's it right there. We've had Tom Petty. We've had Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, Bob Dylan. I had Robert Plant here just 3 weeks ago. Y'all missed that. I had Mick Jagger here about 4 years ago. He's that big.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, and they all come here for pretty much the same reason you're here. They wanted to see where all their heroes have recorded. So it's a pretty special place. And I never take it lightly. It's a sweet gig I have here. It's better than a real job, let me tell you. Did that for a long time. So anyway, Elvis had his official audition. You heard what happened right there. Go Elvis. Okay. Sam knew he had something special. He told his wife that night, honey, Becky, I think our lives have just changed forever. He knew he captured some kind of lightning in a bottle. He took it down to Dewey. Dewey liked it so much, played it about 15 times in a row. Phone ringing off the hook. Twitter was just going crazy. You can imagine a young Sam Phillips behind the glass. He's like, ooh, yeah. But like I said, it ain't all about Elvis, so more people have recorded here besides Elvis Presley. So Elvis lasted about a year and a half. He blew up. He got too big for this small little hillbilly record label. Sam knew he couldn't give him what he needed, so he sold Elvis' contract to the highest bidder, RCA, $35,000. Not by Elvis. But yeah, he's about to turn that 35 grand into a whole lot of money. Okay. Yeah, I failed to mention, all these ceiling tiles are original. Lighting fixtures, the floor you're standing on, which I think is kind of cool, right down to that front door. So that's not just any old front door. That will be the front door that Elvis walked through for the very first time. So everybody I'm talking about today has walked through that front door. So what that means is the front door you walked through earlier and had a little photo shoot in front of. Nothing happened there, yeah. It's our gift shop. I'm too honest of a tour guide. So my point being is the studio in the 50s was just these 3 rooms. Okay, that's my point. So anywho, now Sam's got a little cash flow. Got 35 grand in the bank. So now he can sign other artists to the record label. He can pay off all his debts, like that Bearcat business I told you about. Sign guys like Carl Perkins. And that was the official big turning point in the story. Carl Perkins gave Sam his first #1 smash hit. A little song you might have heard of, a little song that he wrote and recorded first, Blue Suede Shoes. Yep. And it was that right there. That's what kicked down the door for everybody. Now Sam's got him a bona fide money-making record label. Thanks, Carl. Charlie Rich got his start here from Colt, Arkansas. Billy Riley from Arkansas. Sonny Burgess, Charlie Feathers, Harold Jenkins. You might know him better as Conway Twitty from Helena, Arkansas. Y'all see the trend here? Barbara Pittman, more of a female recording artist, little friend of Elvis. The original Gene Simmons, not the fake one who stole his name, Jumpin' Gene. Got his start right here. Above Barbara Pittman, brewing into sunglasses. Y'all might recognize him. Who's that? Roy Orbison from Wink, Texas. Spent his early days here too. And he would eventually move off to the big leagues like Elvis, give us all those beautiful ballads we know him for today. But he hung out long enough to give us a little hit called Ooby Dooby. And I used to play Ooby Dooby on my tour, but it just says Ooby Dooby 43 times. There you go. But without a doubt, though, my favorite person ever to walk through that front door, man, a fellow Arkansan right here from Dyess, Arkansas, fresh out of the Air Force, a vacuum cleaner salesman, the man in black, Mr. Johnny Cash. Y'all give Johnny some love. He can hear you. Come on. I love Johnny, man. I met Johnny when I was 12 years old. I was too young and dumb to fully appreciate it.
Wow.
I know. My mom took a picture, and to this day, my mom's like, I have no idea what that picture is. So anyway, Johnny walks up through the front door, man. He's trying to sell Marion a vacuum cleaner. She don't want one, but luckily he auditioned for Sam. Sam liked what he heard. And in just a couple short years, Johnny Cash would walk out that front door, one of the biggest country music singers of all time. Most of those songs we know Johnny for today were the ones recorded right here in this room. He is the most consistent hit maker here. Johnny would have stood right there too. Sam always liked to put the lead singer right there, so they had a direct line of sight to the glass as for headphones. He opened the door, yelled at everybody. Yeah. So probably my favorite part of this story is, let me divert your attention to this photograph over here, and I'll round the bases and turn the lights up, let you guys hang out here in just a second. Y'all recognize that photo? Mm-hmm. There you go. December 4th, 1956. One of the most infamous jam sessions of all time happened right here where you're standing. You feel it? You feeling something? All right. Well, a lot of folks don't know. Yeah, right there. So it was a Carl Perkins recording session. Johnny Cash just happened to be there. Of course, old pretty boy Elvis is already the bona fide superstar at this point. He walks through that front door unannounced. He missed all his old friends. He wanted to say hello to Mr. Phillips. He came home for Christmas. Now, lucky for us, Sam recorded every bit of it. He shouldn't have. He could have got a lot of trouble for that, but Sam recorded every bit of it. What it was is he saw Jackie Wilson down in Vegas do his own song. Apparently, Elvis was quite impressed with it. He's telling all his buddies about it. And, of course, that heavy left hand on the piano, I think you know who that was. That was the last man standing, the original rock and roll bad boy, Mr. Jerry Lee Lewis. Okay? And Jerry Lee is still kicking today, man. He just had a birthday last week, 87 years old. Wow. When we're all dead and gone, it will be Jerry Lee Lewis and Keith Richards walking up. But I'm telling you, but what a lot of folks don't know is Jerry Lee was pretty much a nobody at the time, just a session piano player hired to play in a Carl session. But after that, man, Sam got smart. I mean, even Elvis was like, Mr. Phillips, what's up with that crazy guy on piano? And so Sam got smart and signed Jerry Lee to a little recording contract. And Jerry Lee Lewis ended up being the biggest selling artist here. He outsold everyone in this room with one song. A little song called Great Balls of Fire. You might have heard it. And that is the biggest selling song to date. So it's got things now, a few years have passed. Now Sam has built his label up enough to move 1 million units on somebody. Something he couldn't do back in the Elvis days. So Jerry Lee Lewis, he brings us, he reaped all the benefits there. The biggest selling artist today. He still lives here. Biggest selling artist here at the Sun record label. And Jerry Lee Lewis also brings us to the end of the story. You got to think all this happened in 10 years. Y'all think about that for just a second. That's a lot of music here for 10 years. So Sam never owned the place, never has, will, never has, never will. Remember, 10-year lease. Lease is up. He signed, he built studios all over the South. There's still one down the street. I failed to mention with some of that blue suede cheese money, he invested it in a little upstart Memphis company you might have heard of called Holiday Inn. Yeah, so Sam, don't feel sorry for Sam. He died a very rich man. He rode up to the sunset just counting all his money. Well, we lost Sam about 2003. So he lived to be a ripe old age. I think he made it to 80 years old. There's a picture of me and Sam in the office. Yes, I'm that old. I got hair though, man. But yeah, I played Sam's birthday party the last 2 years, right before he died. And yeah, they're good people. And I still work a little bit at the other place doing sessions and stuff for his son Jerry and granddaughter Hallie. So they're really, really good people. But yeah, we would reopen sometime in the 80s. Somebody got the wild idea to purchase this entire building. It was not Sam Phillips. Purchase this entire building, combine all the spaces, and sell you guys a ticket to see it. That's when it became a tourist attraction. But yeah, we're still a fully active studio to this day. But right here, I'm saving the best for last. I'll let you guys just hang out, take some pictures, we have a little sing-along when we're done. This is cool. We're kind of lucky to have this. This is one of the original microphones to the studio. It's the only original thing we have from the 50s, gear-wise. And Sam gave us this mic. He swore everybody has sang out of this microphone. He gave it to us with one condition. He wanted it in this room where it always lived, where it belongs, where people can touch it and take their picture with it. So I thought it was kind of cool of Sam to do. So with that being said, I'm going to let you guys take your picture with the rock and roll microphone. All I ask, all I ask is just be very careful with her. Very careful with her. She's old. Number 2, very important, do not lick or kiss the rock and roll. You'd be surprised, I gotta say that. You'd be surprised, man. We got folks who think there's actually Elvis DNA left in these little tracks. I'm like, man, that's just a bunch of cooties and old barbecue. And number 3, if you're not sure what to do with a rock and roll microphone, there's old Elvis to show you how it's done. And that right there, that brings me to the end of my little rock and roll tour. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. So yeah, My name is Mark, tour guide dude.
Okay, what's that spot, Sally?
The spot where Elvis and everyone else stood to record their songs.
Cool.
Right there.